I am principal at Millbrook High School in Raleigh, North Carolina.
What's in the high school? How many students, how many grades?
We have 2,600 students. We're
Whoa!
about a street away from Crossroads where we're standing right now.
Really?
Grades 9 through 12, and we're a magnet school. But primarily we serve the 27615 zip code.
Is this a big mistake, 2,000 some students?
It's not. That's very typical for Wake County.
What about for a principal's nerves?
Well, I've got over 30 some years in the profession, and so all the nerves have gone away, and we just kind of know how to roll with it.
There's gossip in the teacher's lounge.
I don't go in the teacher's lounge.
There are circles of gossip in the community.
And that's why I like doing interviews like this and like being in front of the public so that we can address any gossip or misconception there may be.
Because really, I'm bringing the negative side of it up because I know firsthand that there are ways to bring people on board. Now, I have a question for you. I have it written down. How does your opinion of your staff's competence impact their performance?
Well, I think tremendously. I think when people know that you believe in them and trust in them to do the job that they're tasked to do, that they will perform it at a really high level. We have an incredible staff. Our Teacher of the Year was just now announced as a finalist for Wake County. We've got lots of award winners, many nationally board certified teachers, and a lot of teachers with a heart for the Lord and who reach out to our kids beyond the school day.
So, give us some examples. You say how you view your staff's competence does impact your workers' performance. Tell us how.
The state of North Carolina just released school report card grades, and there were, in Wake County, out of 27 high schools, there were 4 A schools, and those A schools are very affluent and all in the western part of Wake County. I wasn't sure where our school would land with its grade. We are large, we are urban, we are diverse, and we are complex. Wow. We have a large immigrant population, large special ed population.
These are big challenges in the educational environment.
All kinds of complexities. And I was thrilled to find out that our report card showed that Millbrook High School, because of its teachers, is a high B, beating most of the schools in the area, of whom I won't name in this interview.
But now look, everything can't be about making A's and B's. There's something else going on here.
Well, it's a good place for kids. It is a warm and nurturing environment. There's lots of opportunities for students. Doesn't matter where you come from or what your gifts are, we will work hard to find them and promote and support the students.
So you care more than just about grade point.
We have to, because kids are complex beings, and they are not just about a report card. They are about getting to school, being dressed appropriately, doing their homework, having breakfast, having lunch, a caring adult, someone to greet them, someone to notice when they're not doing well.
Have you ever noticed how the way you treat your staff, not just teachers, but your whole staff, how you treat the adults has impact on the students?
Well, of course, I think there's a correlation because people want to know that they're cared for and that they're valued, and that's just not adult to adult, that's adult to students. And when I'm in a classroom or in the hallways, one of the things I pay attention to is how many times is a student spoken to? Who speaks to that student? Are they called by name? Does somebody truly notice that they were at school today?
This is beautiful.
Well, you got to pay attention, because if you don't, the kids will very quickly realize that this isn't a place that needs them or wants them there, and then you have attendance issues, and then you have grade issues, and promotion issues, and graduation issues. So it really starts with those personal connections with our students.
Okay, there are over 2,000 students. Have you ever seen, and this is just a question, have you seen this to be so, that sometimes you have to make an impact on the students, let's say the customer, before your workers will believe that you, the leader, know what you're doing? You're leading them into a storm, maybe. Maybe there's no hope for this thing. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe they're following somebody that they think is just going to be a bull in a china shop. Well,
the good news is I've been part of the Millbrook High School community since forever. Both of my adult children graduated from Millbrook High School, and I live in the Millbrook district.
Wow.
So I think I officially became a Millbrook parent in 1999. I came on board at Millbrook High School in 2003. And when my own children were there, Millbrook had a very difficult reputation. There had been some things that had happened in the past 20 years. First of all, they had 5 principals in 10 years.
Whoa.
And with that kind of turnover and turbulence, it's hard to get your hands around the things that are really going to improve the school.
Well, for one thing, hopelessness. Staff wondering, is this ever going to go anywhere?
Right. And assuming that the next principal is just short term and this too shall pass. But 11 years later,
The king is still around.
that's right. So over the course of 11 years, we've been able to do some dramatic things that have impacted the climate, morale, and success of the schools. And one of the things that we did early on was try to understand that Millbrook is part of a community, is part of this 27615 zip
Okay,
code.
now wait a second, because this is my next question. Is this about building a great school environment that goes beyond school staff and students?
Yes, but I didn't know it at the time. Because when this man and members of his church first approached me about what are some school needs, and Doug his children went to Millbrook High School too. When they first came in, this was about 2004, the question to me was, what can we do? How can we help you? And I was very leery. I don't think I need the church in this school.
Yes.
I think I'll get in trouble. I think we'll make the news for the not so right reasons. So why don't you go over there and pray for us?
This is great.
But don't do it here.
This is great, because one of the questions that I keep wanting to ask people, I asked Doug, I in some way asked Travis, and I asked his boss, and I'm going to ask you now. Is it okay for people who believe in God, who believe in Jesus, who believe in the Great Commission of the New Testament that Jesus left people with, is it okay for people to do good and not to demand that the others become Christian, or even give them a chance to tell them about, this is the way you become a follower of Jesus?
Yes, but it took for me to develop a strong sense of trust with this guy. Because when they first came in, and ask what I needed, I was very suspicious. I thought, oh, well, if I tell you what I need, then you're going to want something from me, like you're going to want the souls of my students. And that's not what I do.
And to infiltrate the philosophies of the school,
Oh, yes.
select the textbooks, and
Yes, all of those things. So we played a very delicate dance 10 years ago to get to the point where there's trust and understanding and acceptance. And really what happened first was we didn't stand out front of the church and pray for our kids. We just sat in my office and prayed. And it was 3 adults. And then it was 5 adults. And then groups of parents would come and prayer walk the campus after school and on weekends. And then we had a one event at the football stadium that the church community coordinated and planned, but I was allowed to be a part of for my Christian self and not my principal self. And for me, that was an epiphany. It was the first time I was able to speak with students and parents just from my believer's perspective. And that has changed how I interface with the school and with the church community.
All right, so part of this community of making school work is with people who come to you as volunteers through people like Doug.
Right. The first thing I wanted to make sure that we didn't do is just be a real needy organization and suck the life out of the members here and out of he and his staff. So we first did this dance to make sure that it was a balanced relationship.